Coming to you on the 4th of July. It's the Little Podcast of Horrors with James, Christina, and Chris.
What are you drinking, James?
Well, damn. Just right out of the gate.
Out the gates.
What the hell are you drinking, James? You better tell us now, you bastard.
I'm stunned. I don't even know if I can answer.
Hey, guys.
You're in the
welcome to,
headlines.
hey, guys. Welcome to Little Podcast of Horrors. James, what are you drinking?
Well, I'm actually treating myself to something a little special today, and I'm hesitant to say because Chris is going to judge me.
What are you
But
talking about? I've never judged you.
It's fancy. That's what it means.
so Lakewood, one of my favorite breweries. I've taken you there, Chris. I need to take Christina. I don't think.
I know this. Yeah.
Yeah. So they do a limited special release every year of their bourbon barrel Temptress. Temptress being their milk stout that's very famous around here.
Oh, yeah. I think I've had that. It's actually pretty good.
Yeah. So every year they do a different limited edition of it. And they've been doing this since 2012. So I've got I had a bottle in the fridge of their 2022 bourbon barrel Temptress 10 BBT 10, which was it was like a big special event when they do these bourbon barrel releases. Like I went to last year's and got like a special glass and new bottles and whatnot. So it's really good limited release beer. So I'm to do it properly, I'm drinking my bourbon barrel Temptress 10 out of a BB10 special edition glass.
Okay.
Make sure I'm doing it right, showing it respect. So little copper trimmed little special glass there. So just treating myself a little.
That's fine. Now, the glass is fine. I would never judge you for that. That glass is fine, but why are you wearing a top hat and why do you have a monocle? Because that I don't get.
He's wearing gloves too. Like, what's up with that?
Yeah,
Why
and like,
tie?
how long did it take you to tie that bow tie? I mean, like, good Lord, dude. Wait, is that like a cigarette holder? Are you the penguin now?
I'm getting bullied 2 episodes in a row now.
Yeah, you are.
You're only bullied because we love you so much.
Oh, we do. I love you both so much.
Yeah. It's remember, it's like love hurts. Well, what is it? So the ultimate sign of love is.
Hey, you're stealing my joke. If you always hurt the ones you love, the ultimate side of affection is murder.
There you go.
I'm sure a lot of people in prison feel the same way. They're like, yeah, see, this is what I've been trying to tell you.
I'm not sure if Ronnie in prison saying like, this guy gets me. I don't like that. I don't be like, no, I don't.
I take understanding where I could get it because it's so rare.
I really wouldn't. I really wouldn't.
We all just want to feel seen. Okay.
There's some people I don't want to be seen by and I don't want to be understood by.
Well, Chris, what are you drinking then?
Nothing. I'm not drinking a thing. All my cups are empty, but my heart is full. So, as we have established on this show, we record several episodes together. And so, if you were listening to our last episode hosted by me, or led by me, the story was by me, I was drinking an old fashioned. But if I drink, it's gone. But the thing is, if I drink like a drink every episode,
It would be so much better.
No.
I'm here for it.
Why are you the devil on my shoulder? Why do you do that? No. You've seen me as drunk as I've ever been in my life. Why do you need to see that again?
Not fall out of a chair drunk.
You just need to see me like tipsy happy. Well, I might be inclined to do that, but I have to go to the grocery store after this because Katie, for Father's Day, is making me Swedish meatballs.
Nice. I'm hungry.
Right?
So it's my episode today. Well, what am I drinking? I'm still drinking beer. So if you listen to the last episode, it's going to be the same drink. I'm drinking Flyway's Blue Wing beer out of our gorgeous tumbler, which is really a wine tumbler, but I love it. It keeps it nice and cool.
And you can get your very own on our shop at www.littlepodcastofhorrors.com.
Mhm.
Please buy them all.
That's
yes.
That's one fancy glass that Chris won't judge you for having.
That's right.
I
I
didn't
also have
judge you.
our shirt on too.
Ooh, nice.
I did not
Lovely
judge
shirt.
you for the glass you just had. I thought that was an appropriate glass. It's the tails and tuxedo and the whole wardrobe you've got going on. That's just like, that's not podcast. I mean,
Over the top.
it's over the top, man. Wait, is that a cane? I can't even anymore. I'm just done.
It's one of those canes with like a sword in it. That's the kind of cane I want.
That would be pretty awesome.
Swagger, okay?
People are gonna jump onto the YouTube and be like,
swag.
He's just wearing a t-shirt. What are they talking about?
We're insane. All right, my friends, picture it. Strasbourg, July 1518.
I'm there.
Strasbourg.
I'm there. Everything's cold and
does
smells
Strasbourg
like everything's cold and it smells like soup.
Okay. It's July though, so it's probably pretty warm.
No, it's still probably cold.
So it's hot and it smells like soup.
It smells like hot soup.
So it's a busy day. The Strasburgians, I think I just made that up. I don't know, are going about their day.
The Strasburgians. Strasburgians.
Sounds like a pasta or something. So the citizens of Strasbourg are going about their day-to-day grind when a woman steps into the street. She's called Frau Trophia. Suddenly, Frau Trophia, she jerks and twists. Then she's swaying. She's gyrating, dancing to a song only she could hear.
Is it by the Black Eyed Peas?
One of the best songs.
So the passersby, they're like, what are these shenanigans? We want to check this out. So that they stop, you know. They're trying to ask her questions, but she's not answering. She can't like stop dancing. She doesn't know why she's dancing. Hours go by, and Frau Trophia, with bloody feet, collapses from exhaustion. Everybody thinks this strange event has passed until the next day. She's out in the street again. She's dancing, but this time she isn't alone. This is the story of the dancing plague of 1518.
Oh, I'm so glad we're doing this. I've heard of it. It's absolutely fascinating. Because it actually really, really happened.
It did.
Unlike all the other things we've talked about.
Sometimes it's like iffy. Okay, I've covered werewolves, so that's kind of like...
I don't know about old Stumpy there, but this definitely happened.
This one did, and actually there are cases of like throughout the Middle Ages as well, in Europe, this happening. So it's like a real phenomena.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to cite my sources before I get going here. If you have not listened to the podcast Supernatural with Ashley Flowers, do. She does a great episode on this very topic, but also it's just a super good podcast.
After you finish this episode, though.
Yeah. Listen to this first.
After you finish this episode, tell 10 of your friends about it, and you buy a couple of things from our store.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and join our Patreon. Then you can go ahead and go to Miss Ashley Flowers. Okay, also hauntedpalaceblog.com. So they did a whole article about the curse of the red shoes, and it's the dancing mania of the Middle Ages. So it does talk about this event in Strasbourg.
Wait, Curse of the Red Shoes?
Yes, and we'll get to red shoes later, but red shoes are there. And then allthat'sinteresting.com also did a dancing plague article, as well as history.com, britannica.com, and of course, my favorite, Wikipedia. The tried and true.
Good old Wikipedia.
All right, so we're in Strasbourg, which is in Alsace. It's at this time in 1518, it's a free city of the Holy Roman Empire. Now it is basically the eastern region of France, and it's about 2.5 miles west of the Rhine River, which is near the German border. So it's kind of one of those areas where the language is probably also like French and German, like they have both, right? So it's a hot July day. Frau Trophia, our lady in the introduction, she begins inexplicably dancing in the streets. People are like, WTF is going on? They watch her for a long time. They don't know what to do. They really can't figure out how to intervene. They don't know what she's up to. Like, this is weird behavior for a woman of the time. So, like I said, there's no music and she can't control herself. So there's just this random lady in the street dancing silently. It's kind of like when you watch those videos of people like catching people recording TikToks without the music. It's like completely out of context. It's weird. It's unnerving. So Frau Trophia, she really does. She goes on for hours like this, dancing uncontrollably. And she's only able to stop because she collapses from exhaustion. So it's not sure but how she like makes it back to her house. I think she is married, so like he probably takes her back to the house. But as soon as she's rested up, she's back dancing. Like it never stops. Like unless she's passed out from exhaustion, it can't stop.
Yeah.
So she goes on like this for about a week. And then by that point, there are over 30 people who have joined her and they can't stop. They don't know why they're doing it. They can't figure out, like they're like, stop me, while they're like dabbing.
It's a
and
flash
whatever.
mob plague.
Yes, a flash mob plague.
I really want there to be like a mosh plague. That, just some guy, some just long-haired, burly Scandinavian guy hearing some just, ripping death metal song in his head. He's just doing the lawnmower in the middle of the street for hours on end. That'd be awesome. And then it spreads and there's just a huge mosh pit. That'd be awesome.
Oh my God.
That'd be so dangerous. And this one's dangerous and they're not even washing. Okay, so people are starting to freak out because not only was it weird that this random lady was doing this and she couldn't stop herself, but now it seems like it's contagious because there are like 30 something people out here in the streets doing it. So they're starting to freak out. People are dancing so long that they're dying of strokes and heart attacks. Like, it's a bad situation. So by August, which, so within a month, because this started in July, over 400 people have succumbed to the dancing illness. So we started with this one lady and we're all the way up within a month to 400 people in this town. The rumor is roughly 15 people were dying per day at the height of this event. So there's a lot of fucking people. So now the authorities are starting to take this dancing thing a little more seriously. Before it was like, okay, this crazy lady, she's just out of control. Her husband needs to like get her in line, like whip her. I don't know, get her in line. But now 400 people, they're like, okay, maybe this is something bigger. So they start looking for causes and solutions, but they're unable to resolve the like convulsive dancing. So after a while, they give up. They're like, I don't know what to do. We don't know what this is. It came out of nowhere. There's no seeming cause. So they go to the doctors and they're like, hey, docs, we need you to fix this. This is crazy. And the doctors are like, yeah, of course. Step aside, idiots, while we handle this. We got it.
That's a direct quote.
Direct quote. Step aside, idiots.
The doctors are in the house.
So if I may interject,
yeah,
dying from just dancing uncontrollably until your feet bleed and you fall over is really sad. But if you died from just moshing violently from hours on end, there is nothing more metal than that.
You're going to Valhalla for that.
That's at least respect. Like I died from moshing too hard.
So it's a mosh pit. So the physicians take over, right? They're observing. They come to the conclusion that the townsfolk are suffering from overheated blood. Overheated blood.
Overheated. Okay.
Whatever that means.
Oh, obviously.
It's overheated blood. See, happens. Idiots, we got this.
I say it's one of those medical terms I guess I don't understand.
Yeah. Because you're not a brilliant physician like these guys.
Apparently.
So they're like, the only way to cure these people is to let them dance it out.
I don't know. The only way to cure these people is more cowbell.
Damn it. That's what I was thinking. And he said it first. They got a fever. And the only cure is more cowbell.
Yes.
So basically, just let it run its course. Brilliant solution.
And death is a way to end a disease. That is
Yep.
true.
I mean,
It stops.
It's pretty final.
So they're like going based off the physician's recommendations. The authorities repurpose some guild halls, which I had to look up because I didn't really understand what guild halls were, but they were used for tax collecting and then like other boring business. Okay. So they turn these into dance halls. They hire musicians, event staff, but the event staff were like charged with basically like holding up the exhausted dancers. So like even when they were so exhausted they could not stand anymore, they had people trying to hold them up.
So they're like, let's monetize this.
This is how this is how raves started. That's really what this is all about. And thus raves began.
So they're not even allowed to just pass out from exhaustion. And people eventually, there are just too many people collapsing. There are not enough event staff to hold them up. So you have people like collapsing and then they're in this hot, stuffy guild hall. So they're like super dehydrated. People are in a really dangerous medical condition at this point.
Like any given rave.
Yes. Yeah. It's like they took too much X. They're severely dehydrated.
They
Passed
start
out on the floor.
The venue's understaffed.
So this is
Yeah.
how foam party started.
Yeah. The event staff are holding up the people they can, and then the rest of the people are just like dropping like flies. So do we think this treatment worked? Do you think the people danced themselves out and they were done?
Yeah, I was thinking they almost stole my idea because I was thinking is like, you might at least, make it an official dance party and make it interesting, but just like put them on some like soft, cushy, foam flooring so they don't make their feet, bloody. Give them some IVs of like, energy drinks, and that way they can survive the experience.
Just move forward the heart attacks.
Just move forward. If they're gonna die of heart attacks anyway.
We need Red Bull stat. We need you to invent Red Bull and get it in here.
I don't want them to suffer.
Oh my gosh. It's just people's hearts exploding on the dance floor. But there's cushy
Once again, it becomes metal.
All about making it metal.
Okay, well, no, the treatment did not work. It was a profound failure. The injuries the injuries were grotesque. Like I said, people were so dehydrated and they were dying. Also, heart attacks and strokes, those things were continuing. So it did not help at all. They just
monetizing the disease into an entertainment venue didn't fix it.
I know. That's blowing my mind, actually. How did capitalism not fix this?
Gee, I have no idea.
Everything else, right?
All right. So because of this profound failure, the authorities intervene again and say, direct quote, okay, that was a horrible idea. You physicians couldn't fix it. So it must be a spiritual problem. Obs. So in a very like footloose way, the town officials were like, you're all sinners. We're obviously being punished. So no music, no dancing for you. We just ban it. You can't do it because we banned it.
Oh, yeah,
and then Kevin Bacon
and
then Kevin Bacon shows up.
We said no, you can't do it. And then Kevin Bacon jumps in, does some epic slide.
If you ever just want Kevin Bacon to just show up, just outlaw dance and music. He'll come. If you ban it, he will come.
All right. So they're banning it. Obviously, this doesn't work, but they can't control it. It does. Hello. It does not work. So a couple theories start running through the town. One, obviously, demon possession. Everybody's possessed by demons. Two, they're being punished by Saint Vitus. I should have looked up the pronunciation for his name. I'm going to say Vitus. Saint Vitus. So Saint Vitus this is quoting from All That's Interesting. I'm not even going to try to make it my own words. So Saint Vitus was a Sicilian saint martyred in 303 AD who was said to curse sinners with uncontrollable dancing mania if angered. And then from Haunted Palace, Vitus, what?
There's a saint for that?
Yeah, yes.
There really is a saint for everything.
I was going to say, there's a saint for everything, dude.
So you know what would have fixed this? Sex.
And Kevin Bacon.
If you were to bring in Patrick Swayze and make it dirty dancing, everybody would have been able to work it out until they were satisfied and problem solved.
I feel like it would have been really awkward sex. Like some of them just can't stop moving, but they're like, are they with partners that also can't stop? Like, I don't know. Are their rhythms the same? Also sounds like an accident waiting to happen.
It just goes to show you that you need to vibrate responsibly.
Yes.
Exactly. As we always say.
Throwbacks. Okay, so from Haunted Palace, Vitus, Saint Vitus, became known as a patron saint of dancers, entertainers, comedians, epileptics, as well as giving protection against lightning strikes, animal attacks, and oversleeping. So he's kind of like patron saint all over the place, in my opinion.
Busy guy.
Yeah. But if you piss him off, he's cursing you with uncontrollable dancing. So that's what people start to think, because apparently at this time in this area, Saint Vitus is like kind of one of the bigger saints. So they start to think, okay, we've done something bad, because also during this time they were struck with like a major drought in this region of France. So there was, of course, a famine because of that. So they're kind of being hit in all these weird ways, and they think, okay, we did something wrong. We're really evil, bad people. And the town is like, the town officials are saying, yeah, you are, you bad kids. No more music. No more dancing for you. And of course, that doesn't change anything. So let's talk about Frau Trophia again, because she kind of disappears from the story, right? Like she started it, yet we've not really talked about her.
Yeah. So everybody gets in on the act. Mm-hmm. It becomes a big thing, and then they all forget about the one that came up with it all.
Yeah. So she's disappeared.
See, I just assumed she was one of the ones that died.
You would think, but there's something else that happened to her. So we've got all these 400 townspeople doing this. They're bad kids. They pissed off St. Vitus, right? Frau Trophia, at some point kind of early on when this starts going down, she is taken to a shrine in the Vosges Mountains to be treated. And they say this is like a shrine for St. Vitus. And she pays her penance to St. Vitus. They do some kind of a ritual. And it's believed that the ritual works. So she, as far as we know, she lives. Like this ritual to St. Vitus works, paying her penance works. So the authorities were like, okay, see, she's okay. So we think now it is a spiritual problem, right? And you've been bad kids. So we want the rest of you 400 sinners to go and do the same kind of thing. And we're going to cure this. Stop fucking around with St. Vitus. Pay your penance.
Man, how much St. Vitus do they have to go around, though?
Apparently a lot.
Enough. So by this point, it's gone on for about 2 months. People have died, and the leading belief, right, like they pissed off St. Vitus. So the town officials, they shuttle everyone to a nearby town called Saverne, and they force everyone to St. Vitus's shrine there to pay penance and do the same kind of ritual so that they can cure these people and move on. So the afflicted people were forced into red shoes and led about by a wooden statue of St. Vitus. So they're like basically just walking around town the town of Severn, in red shoes, following this wooden statue of him.
Hold up. So to fix the problem, we're going to put everybody in fancy red shoes and have them parade around town behind a giant wooden statue. How is that not a dance number?
I don't know. But as long as you're doing it for St. Vitus, you know.
Like, you know what we'll put it into this? A disco ball. If we just hang it above everybody.
You know, honestly, like every time I see red shoes, though, I can't help but think about Dorothy's like glittery.
I was thinking that
Right?
Wizard of Oz.
Yes, I can't stop thinking about it. Okay. So I'm not totally sure why red shoes, but here are a couple possibilities. All right. Potentially red shoes may have symbolized the martyrdom of Jesus Christ. Another possibility is that red was also worn to ward off the evil eye. And a third possibility, although not a wording thing, but red signified vanity, female sexuality. So they can't be having sex.
Yeah, can't do that.
Female sexuality is a sin. And was associated with the devil and witches. So
Red is a very vague color.
there's a lot going on with red. Yeah. So it really isn't obviously certain why the red shoes, but those are a couple of possibilities for the symbolism of the red shoes. Do we think this worked?
Yeah. The end. Oh no, I don't think.
What about you, James? What do you think?
Oh man, it put me on the spot. I'm gonna say that I wonder who the saint of metal would be.
Apparently Saint Vitus.
No, I think no, Saint Vitus doesn't meet the bar. We need someone special for like the saint of metal.
Okay, that sounds like you're about to get struck with the dancing plague. You better put some respect on Saint Vitus's name.
Saint Tennis.
I will not be satisfied unless it's a moshing plague. Thank you.
How about Saint Tetanus?
Tetanus?
Metal, rust. I don't know.
You're going too literal now. Okay, so did it work? Yes,
I
it did.
was right.
It did.
Sweet. Thanks for joining us for Little Podcast of Horrors.
Yeah, that's it. Really, it is a short episode, though. I don't have much after this. It does work. And the plague comes to an end inexplicably. Obviously, they thought, they really appeased St. Vitus, so that's why. But scientifically, it's unexplained. Like, they don't know why. They do think it killed about at least 100 people. My question was, when I was doing my research, were they even really dancing? Because what if they were just like convulsing and it to them looked like dancing? But according to like the historical records they do have, from a variety of sources, not just like one source, they had written records from citizens, but then also like the physicians, the town officials. I think they had some from like some of the churches. So a variety of records indicated that yes, like they were saying it's dancing, not just like convulsing. And
when I was trying to visualize this, I'm realizing my biases because I was thinking like, what would that even look like? And the first thing that comes to mind is like an Austin Powers movie intro dance number. But like, given the era, like were they just like ballroom dancing in the streets or something? Like,
to me, I don't know. I guess to me, that's why I asked the question was like, was it even really dancing? Because in my mind, when I envision it, it doesn't even actually look like dancing. It's like convulsing because it's so uncontrollable. Or like Elaine when she dances in Seinfeld. Just like ridiculous looking. So from those historical records, though, they do feel like it probably did look like dancing. However, there is a neurological disorder that causes potentially a similar variety of convulsions called Sydenham's chorea. So apparently with that condition, you also are like gyrating, like convulsing uncontrollably, and it can look like dancing. So
I would only explain it for one person, though.
exactly. Why is it 400 people?
I say, yeah, why does it seem contagious?
So some other theories are that it was ergot poisoning. So for those that don't know, ergot is a fungi that grows on grains. The symptoms of ergot poisoning are dizziness, convulsions, and psychosis.
Ooh, that is not a fun guy.
No, he's not a fun guy. This is also one of the theories about like why the Salem witch trials happened, like the hallucinations and stuff. They thought maybe that the people in Salem were poisoned by this fungi, ergot. So the dancing plague affected Europe from the 14th through the 17th centuries. So this is not an isolated incident.
How often? Do we have any idea of how often?
I am not sure. No, I didn't pull. I was trying to find like more stories, but this seemed like the main story that was actually recorded because I would have liked to have had more stories, like.
And it hasn't happened again since the 17th century.
I think it has, but I didn't keep it. I didn't add that in here because I couldn't find the modern story.
Oh.
But I have heard, and in Supernatural with Ashley Flowers, she mentions there being modern occurrences of like a dancing illness. Of course, I don't think it's common, obviously, but this is not a one-off, like it's a thing. The second theory is that this was a religious induced behavior because of, for lack of a better word, an obsession with Saint Vitus at the time. So, and because they had that,
was such bad.
well, they had that plus the drought that caused the famine, so they were already like struggling, right? And we tend to like turn to spirituality when we can't figure out why some things are happening to us, right?
You could say that Vitus got inside us.
That was actually pretty good, Chris.
Thank you.
I give you props for that one.
I like that one. You need to make like a little graphic for our Instagram. Vitus got inside us.
The Vitus got inside us.
It's like an old-timey religious imagery.
I'll get right on that.
Okay, so that's the second theory, is that it was like this religious induced kind of like hysteria, I guess. So there is something called mass motor hysteria, and it typically involves like a prolonged buildup of psychological tension. So that's why I brought up the drought and the famine. And then they already had like supernatural beliefs anyway that were part of day-to-day life and superstitions. So like this all kind of compounded potentially under their circumstances and resulted in this like kind of mass motor hysteria. So those are the two biggest theories, but it's unsolved, unexplained. And the end, what do you guys think?
And that's it. Well, shit.
A short one with no good conclusion.
I mean, multiple people all doing it at the same time. I feel like you can't just chalk that up to mass hysteria because they were literally dancing to death.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like something viral. And as they would describe dancing, doesn't mean that's what they were doing. It just means they were uncontrollably, I don't know.
I think the ergot poisoning is kind of compelling because then they can all be they're like catching it because they're eating from potentially a similar grain.
Well, they wouldn't be. Yeah. That wouldn't mean they weren't eating the grain. Well, that would mean they weren't eating the grain until after the first person did, because they didn't, quote unquote, catch it until encountering the first person, right?
Yeah.
I mean, correlation isn't causation, mind you, but
still, there's always usually going to be the first person that starts showing signs.
True. I don't know.
I don't have
smarts for that one.
No, this is beyond me.
Well, scientists have been stumped, so I don't think that us three lay people.
What? You mean we're not going to figure it out right here?
Not with that attitude.
I guess not.
I do think that's a fun story though. Like it's a quick one because there's not a whole lot of information, but a lot of the historical ones I do don't have a whole lot of information, but I do think that one's fun. Like, aside from the dying, but a dancing plague in the 1500s, I don't know. It's just
The dancing plague.
Yeah, the dying part would only
I love it.
metal.
Yes, and I love that like they didn't know what else to do, so the physicians were just like, "Fuck it, put on a rave." I don't know. Like, what?
9 out of 10 doctors suggest a rave.
Drop some ecstasy, start shooting some foam in there, and let's see what happens. I don't know.
And like overheated blood, like what kind of bullshit diagnosis is
Right?
What does that even mean?
Overheated blood, as tends to happen.
Are you just trying to say that like those kids gallivanting and having fun just makes your blood boil? Is that it?
It's very like footloose. No dancing, no music. It's evil.
If only Kevin Bacon and Patrick Swayze had been invented yet.
Yeah.
Them all.
Yeah, they would have saved everybody. And they would have kept baby out of the corner and told John Lithgow to stick it.
Right.
Make some movies.
Just saying, if the dancing had been dirty, they would have gotten it all out of the system before dying.
Oh, yes. Yeah, maybe so. Need to sex it up on the dance floor.
You need that gyrating pelvis.
That's right. They were just too repressed. Work it out.
I mean, yeah, they probably
Might
are.
have been, yeah.
Think about the time period.
That's part of the tension. So the last theory was the mass motor hysteria, which involves prolonged buildup of psychological tension. So we've got a drought, we've got a famine, and obviously everyone is sexually repressed.
Solved it. You're
women.
welcome. Especially the women, right?
Yes. So of course a woman starts it. Her husband was probably not satisfactory.
Yeah, erotic novels hadn't been invented yet.
There it is.
There's no 50 Shades of Grey.
James solved it.
50 Shades of Grey. God, this time period sucks. Let's dance.
All right. Beep, beep, beep. That's all, folks. Thank you for listening to Little Podcast of Horrors. If you like this episode, please like, subscribe, and share. Got a true tale of the unexplained? Send us an email at littlepodcasthorrors@gmail.com or visit our website at littlepodcastofhorrors.com. If you'd like to support the podcast, join our Patreon. For $2 a month, you get access to our private Discord server where we chat, game, and you'll get access to episode extras. Don't want to commit to a monthly subscription? Make a one-time donation through Spotify or buy us a coffee. All donations keep the lights on for the show and help us fund future on-location visits to haunted places. Links are in the episode description. Want to learn witchy stuff? Take a course with Bearbridge Academy. You can also hire a witch or psychic at the Otso Salon. Be sure to use code LittlePodcast for 20% off Bearbridge courses and Otso services. Thanks for listening, my loves. Bye!